Okay, how we all doing? We're back on the Unpopular Opinions podcast. Mike Cerrone and Brandon so-and-so. Morin. I knew it. Brandon Morin.
Close enough.
Love the guy.
Close enough.
Great man. Uh, yeah, well, last week we had fun, so we're kind of like back on our second official podcast here. We had fun talking about a lot of great stuff last week, COVID and vaccines. We're probably not going to talk much about that today. We'll let you guys worry about that stuff today. What else did we talk about? Some other dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we had fun. We had fun with the Apple Watch.
Apple Watch.
I offended so many people with that, but I had a lot of fun with the Apple Watch. And now we'll move on to more adult topics, more fun, kind of. Well, maybe, yeah, it'll be fun and informative. And then we can actually relate it to the real world and how events are unfolding today in the workplace, in the economy and all that. So the first article we're going to look at, basically mixing millennials and Gen Z in the workplace. So people 35 to 50 call it. I'm in that range. And then people 25 and younger call it, or 22 to 25 and younger. And we'll talk about how it's kind of two mentalities. I think some of the younger kids have an older mentality and some of the older people have the younger mentality. But COVID definitely changed the way the workplace works now, the way it functions, and the way people view work. Now, if you had call it a normal corporate job prior to COVID, you're used to going to your office 8 to 4, 9 to 5, usually at a corporate campus. Around here, we have Hasbro in Pawtucket, big corporate campus, very successful, rich company. They do a lot of good stuff. But after COVID, they're all basically at home. Actually, I think almost all of them, unless they have a security guard. And maybe he can work remotely too from his car, But yeah, so they're mainly working at home. And now a lot of them have gone back to the office, but a lot of these corporations are probably going to do away with some of the corporate campuses, save money, let people work from home. If they do have grounds to work in or a campus, people might come to work 2 days a week. But bottom line is, jobs like that, a lot of them can be done remotely. But if you compare it to what me and Brandon do, we are cooks in a kitchen. We have to be there. And a lot of the Gen Z, this day and age, especially since COVID, believe that you should make your own work schedule, do work when you want, remotely, from where you want. From your bed, car, couch, on the top of a mountain where they're posting selfies. Yay, I climbed the mountain, mommy, or whatever. And we can't do that. We cannot do that in the restaurant. We have to show up on time, work hard. Brandon. And physically and mentally, you have to be ready for the day. And I say mentally because if you let your anger get out of control, if you can, it's a day where you're getting irritated easily, you don't want to be there. You have to take deep breaths. You have to be ready to go. And because you're very close to people, you need help from people. You got to tell people what to do. People are going to tell you what to do. So you have to be ready to go, work hard every day. So this with Gen Z is not mixing very well. Now, Brandon, you work with some younger guys that are, 16 to 18?
Yeah, they're all still in high school, basically.
If it were up to them, they would probably use a drone at work. They would be on their couch and a drone would control, they would have their own robot that might look like them. They control it. It's like playing a video game. You know what I mean? That's probably what they want. Now, I could do that. Think about it. They're going to have robots potentially that are dropping fries in the fry later, lifting them, all this stuff. You know, I mean, that's kind of the future. We're not there yet, but don't you think that, you know, a lot of these kids play video games? They'd probably rather be doing that.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I think a lot of it too is what like the kids see is like all this wasted time in like office jobs, right? Where there's people like taking 20 minutes to open up a thing of coffee and standing there. It's like a whole process to, you know, like, and then go back to your seat and it's like, oh, the office life, we're all here. You get your work done and you kind of just become a drone. And I think they identify with the wasted time and they're like, I'm done. Can I go? I have shit I want to do. Like,
Yeah,
and it's a little bit to do with a lack of respect, I think, for their bosses, with people like my age and younger. But for the most part, I think it's people just wanting their own time back.
yeah, and one thing that struck me in the article in a major way, where a 22-year-old kid coming into a startup company, so the boss has given them some work to do for the day, and one kid, or you know, it might have been more than once, where they delegate work back to their boss, say, "Oh no, actually, you can, boss man, how about you look that up tonight at home? You do that research. I got other stuff I got to do. You're better at that job. So how about you do it?" I mean, if anyone were to come in, I'm giving you a job and then you throw it back at me. I'd say, listen, I gave you the job. Do you mind doing the job that I gave you and that I'm paying you for? Is that possible? Well, yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, I mean, come on. So lack of respect potentially is part of it, and it, you know, it might be being a little ignorant too. Them not actually knowing what they're saying. It's like, listen, things have to get done. You can't rely on other people to do stuff for you in this world, and I know a lot of stuff is done for us now. You look at delivery food, delivery groceries, a lot of things can be done, but you know, you do need money for that. A lot of unemployment was collected. Now, these young kids aren't really collecting the unemployment. They're almost too young. Some of them have never had jobs, so we're not saying they're collecting, but this is in addition to that. It's sort of the whole, oh, well, I'm getting that free money in. I don't really actually have to do anything. I can kind of just skate by. Well, someone is doing the work out there. You got to remember that. Someone is doing the actual labor. Unless a robot is doing it or someone's controlling a drone, we're not really there yet. We will be. And in that case, think of how fat and lazy we're going to be at that point. You know, hopefully, hopefully it doesn't get to that.
It'll be like
the work
Wall-E.
has to get done.
It'll be like the movie Wall-E, where everyone's just floating around in a
Yep.
spaceship.
I've heard of it. That's the direction we're going. So technology has enabled us to do less work, I feel like. And that is a good thing in a way. But we don't want to get stagnant to the point where technology takes over and the human just becomes kind of a lump of coal. You know, we don't want that. You know, things have to get done in order for evolution to take place, so to speak. So it'll be very interesting in the future with all this technology coming around to see where young kids are going into the field and working. Are there going to be less cooks, more restaurants, less? We have lost a lot of restaurants. I feel like these jobs are made for kids that have the energy, but the issue with the kids, they do have school to worry about. They might be less reliable. They might not have a great work ethic. But the beauty of the young kids, they don't need a ton of money to live. They live at home, so they don't have to make $29 an hour. They're probably okay with making 13 to 15 an hour. Even though maybe now they're like, "Oh, give me 20." Yeah, I'm a 14-year-old little kid. I want $20, bro. 20 an hour. Take it or leave it. And the boss is like, well, what are you going to do for me, kid? I'm going to stand here and just be cool. Well, you got to do more than be cool. You got to be productive, pal. So, I mean, hopefully kids have the work ethic that the older generations had. My generation, we have a pretty decent work ethic, I believe, but I feel like in general, the older generation, so my parents worked a little harder than I did, and then their parents, so my grandparents worked a little harder than they did. So I kind of see that trending in that direction. I don't love it, but with technology, maybe we won't have to work as much, and it could be Wall-E world, which maybe that's not a bad thing. The more I think of it, I don't like to slave at work every day. I mean, I sleep good at night because I work hard, but it does take a toll. I don't work crazy hours, but, call it 50 a week. It's a good amount, and it's physical labor, and it will take a mental and physical toll on me. Do I want to work that hard for the rest of my life? No, but you want to have your mind going. You always want to try to better yourself. And that's that's where we're at. Like, how do we better ourselves? How do we work hard, better ourselves? How can life be positive in general? I don't know. I'd like to see more positivity out of my own life and people's lives around me. I'm trying, but you can only do so much.
Right.
Can be a good person, work hard, earn a living. It'll be fun to see. We have some crazy technology now with robotics and everything. 50 years from now, I don't know what to expect. It could be a dystopia and crazy, bad, or it could be a utopia. Was Wall-E kind of like positive, or was there a...
I mean, like the people who were like in the ship and they had like their little chairs and they're all fat and they can't really walk around. So like they're left in this chair. They can't go anywhere, but they all seem pretty content. They have everything they need. So,
all right.
I mean,
you be the judge. I don't know. What do you guys want out of this
man.
world?
The thing with the newer generation is, like you said, where like the grandparents were working the hardest, and then they impose that terror, right? Of you have to work hard or else. And I think over time this was imposed less and less on people because they saw like these big institutions like failing people who were working hard and like trying to climb a corporate ladder, when half these kids realize that their boss is only their boss because they sucked off the right person or because they played the right corporate game, and they're better than this person. And
sucked them off, beat them in a game of checkers,
whatever. Yeah, whatever it might be. So like these kids are like more prone to taking the independent route with whatever it is, whether it's comedy, whether it's pursuing a career, whether it's podcasting, music.
I like it.
That's probably the one good thing that my generation has going for them, with being a little bit more cold, right? Emotionally, it seems.
Oh, your generation being more cold?
Yeah, I feel like there's less of the terror of failing and like, oh, you have to go to school, you have to get an education, you have to get a good job, and it's more of the motivation to go the opposite road of the big institutions that you were pushed to follow as a kid.
I do see that, and my generation was pushed hard to get a good job, make a lot of money, and climb the corporate ladder. And that's good in a way. If you have a family, you need to support them. You need a lot of money. So maybe kids. Now I'm the exception. I don't have any kids, single and everything. So I don't have to worry about making a ton of money. Now, the good thing about it, I can use my money if I have any left over to help other people if I have to. Brandon, don't put that hand out. You're not getting a dime, but I can help people if I need to, with a little bit here and there, and that makes me feel good. So I was smart enough to not have. If I had kids right now, I would probably barely be able to support them. I would need a lot of help. I might be ready to have kids one day. I probably will. Call it 5 to 10 years, maybe whatever. I could see myself having a kid or two. I see my little nieces, you know, here and there, and I look at them and I see how happy they are, and I'm like, oh my God, you are the happiest creature in the world. I'm like, I want you.
Yes.
So maybe one day, but so these kids, they're going to have a different mentality from what I had growing up or what kids my age had. They're going to say, no, you know what? I don't need to go out and get married right now. I don't need that big job. I hopefully they have the, mind that they have to support themselves, but maybe they're thinking differently. Maybe they're going to be a little more creative, hopefully, than my generation was creative, but it was more the make the money type thing. So if more creativity can be sparked from the Gen Z generation, the world could become a much better place, because I can see that literally 14 and 15-year-old kids are coming up with incredible inventions. You could see a 16-year-old figure out a way, free energy for everybody. You know what I mean? Some little stupid thing, a piece of stick, a stick with a piece of gum on it. They put it under their tire of their car, and you get free energy somehow. Don't try that. Yeah, but it could happen. So the world is changing rapidly. I want to see people just do the right thing, work hard, be creative, and try to do things that you think are going to help society move forward in your job. And me and Brandon cook food. If we can put a smile on somebody's face, that's the only reason I do my job. If I can give someone a great lunch for the day, that little thing that I did helped humanity move forward. So that's where we're at. Anything else in that article? We kind of covered a good amount of it.
That's pretty good. That was a good amount.
We have a real nice tidbit here on Travis Scott, who I had never heard of until 3-4 days ago when Brandon texted me the article. So he's, I don't know a ton about him. I read the article, but he is a rapper who's been around for 10
yeah, like
years,
10
years.
pushing 10 years. He started in the SoundCloud days, early
Okay.
SoundCloud.
So he was a young guy. He was like a little Bow Wow type. Came up young or whatever.
Yeah, he was 7. He was 7 years old.
Straight out the hood. No. Well, whatever. Personally, I grew up in the Tupac and Biggie generation. Biggie was the first rapper I ever listened to, and he is still my favorite overall. I bought his Ready to Die CD in high school. I still have it somewhere. I think I ended up buying 2 or 3 of them total as they got lost over time, and almost before internet, you could play songs on the internet. YouTube. I use YouTube now to play all my songs, but I had CDs. So Scott, apparently, this guy has been known to incite crowds before. They must have big crowds at his concerts.
Yeah, he usually plays pretty big shows, sold out venues. This one, I think they said was like overcrowded. There's too many people because there was supposed to be less for the COVID, obviously.
Okay. Well, I hear this stuff. They said he didn't do anything, but apparently people rushed the stage and some people get trampled. 11
Yeah.
people get trampled, um, which is crazy. I mean, to just go to that concert, you're running a risk. Any big event, I'm sorry, any big event you go to, it could be the Million Man March, it could be a big concert. You do run a risk of things happening. Just FYI to everyone out there, young kids, be careful in big venues because things can happen. If something happened, the military could come in and start rolling tanks around. It could happen. So be very careful. But this guy, apparently, before he's been charged for this type of thing before. Um, it's it's crazy that he's allowed to keep doing it. Now, this guy's worth a good amount of money. He's got a lot of endorsements with clothing, etc. Maybe what alcohol brands. I mean, I'm sure he's got a bunch of stuff going on. A lot of companies are paying him good money to promote their brand, but I find this very irresponsible on his part. Especially if there's been issues before, to allow it to happen. He can't stop it from happening, but just to allow it to happen, I mean, you're already kind of guilty of it before. You know, I don't understand. I mean, so pretty much there's a thing called the Illuminati out there, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but the entertainment industry is a very kind of secretive industry. I don't know everything. I've read a lot of articles over time, but call the Illuminati is just big bankers that basically who pick and choose who they want to be famous. And there have been millions of these people over time. And in the entertainment industry, Brittny Spears, Christina Aguilera, that's more my generation, the boy bands, kind of handpicked by big money. And the issue is they pay these people good, like Scott is getting paid well to do it, but they kind of have an agenda to carry out. And I'm not saying the Illuminati wanted this to happen, but it's not like, oh yeah, I want the crowds to go crazy and people to die, Travis. Like, it's not like that happened that way, but they did allow it to happen. It did happen. They might have allowed it to happen. Bottom line, it did happen, and why? So, like, is this guy going to get punished for it? Probably not. Is he going to lose endorsements? People could say, oh, it's not his fault. But he's been disorderly conduct in 2015 at a concert in Chicago. There said he told the crowd to ignore security. Okay, I remember that now. Telling crowds that. So, ignore security, and now this big thing. This is the worst thing that's ever happened with Scott, right? Would you say?
Yeah. This is the biggest
No one,
thing.
it's not like tons of people have died in the past with him. Just things probably got dicey.
People have gotten hurt, but
People
this was,
got hurt. Yeah. So that goes to show you, is he going to get in trouble? Probably not. The Illuminati, it's like they allowed it to happen, and they're going to keep paying this guy. Like, destruction happened. Like, I'm not saying send him to jail, but don't allow him to go to big concert venues anymore. But he's going to keep doing it. Most likely, I hope not, but he's going to have another concert and there might be another incident. So that's kind of the entertainment industry in a nutshell. Shady shit going on, people getting paid money. So be very careful, young kids out there. You think money and fame is so great because any big banker can give you money and fame. They have ties to the media. They can bring your image through the roof, and then they can crush it. Be very careful. For example, let's say Bill Cosby, for example. He was a funny guy, okay? Great stand-up. Actually, probably pretty clean. Obviously, his show was very clean. He probably had pretty clean stand up like Jerry Seinfeld, worked his way through the ranks, got a TV show, killed it, made lots of money. He was like, you know, Grandpa Bill Cosby. Everyone loves him. What happens? They find out he's drugging girls, raping them, terrible things. But what does the media do to him? And anyone that messes up, the media ruins you. So I'm not saying that Bill Cosby should be spared and that, oh, he's not that bad of a guy, but I'm saying the people that bankrolled Bill Cosby are the same people that hit the airwaves with Bill Cosby's the biggest rapist in the world, so his reputation is ruined. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be ruined, because it probably should if you're that bad of a guy. But the media can flip a switch on you in a minute. They can make you that you can go from angel to devil overnight. So fame is not what it's cut out to be. And unfortunately, this guy Scott is going to probably keep being famous, and another incident might happen down the line. And it's all because of money. So money's not the root of all evil, but money can certainly cause evil. Okay? And you need money to live, obviously. But that's the world we live in, folks. You know, maybe I'm not making a ton of jokes today, but I was introduced to all this conspiracy type stuff 8 to 10 years ago, and it really opened my eyes on how the world works, and now my view has shifted. When I got into trading stocks 10 years ago, now I'm telling more about myself, I wanted to be a billionaire. I literally wanted to be a billionaire. I got into it. Once I started working in the industry, I realized how mean and crude the people were in the industry, and I said, you know what, I don't even want to work in this industry. I do a little trading on my own. I've done okay lately, but I said, you know what, I don't need to be a billionaire. I don't need to be rich. I could one day be a millionaire somehow, maybe, if I get lucky, you know, if someone gives me $1 million. But no, money is not everything to me. I want to have enough to live a comfortable life, and that's about it, and help people if I can. So learning about this Illuminati has made me not want to be one of them. I want nothing to do with them. I'm not saying it's all bad, but a lot of it is bad. You know, be very careful.
And now they're coming for you, Mike.
They are. And if they're actually watching this podcast, they have absolutely no life to speak of. Like, literally, I'll tell you right now, Illuminati guys, get a life. If you're watching this show and you feel threatened by me, go, like, I don't know, take up knitting or something, sewing. Go knit, go get a horse and live on a mountain somewhere and stop bothering people. I stole that from a movie, I'm sorry. But, yeah. We can coexist, Illuminati. You're okay. No, you're not okay. But just don't bother me. I'm telling you, don't bother me. I won't bother you. Fair?
It's fair.
Okay. Brandon pulled up another article. Brittny Spears. Britney is Illuminati. There we go. So Britney, I think, is probably a great girl in real life. I'll bet you more of these people in the entertainment industry, boy bands, are all really good people. Some of them might have been corrupted by the money and the lifestyle, but you know, it wasn't their idea. Like all this stuff. When you get talented, people approach you with money, and then they kind of mold how you have to go. So, Judge ends conservator. I can't read. Judge ends conservatorship overseeing Britney Spears' life and finances. Okay, so her finances, everything was kind of controlled for her.
Yeah, I don't know if it was by her dad or if it was, yeah, it was like someone in her family. I think it was her dad. It was like a Macaulay Culkin situation almost.
So they weren't in control of their finances before, and then they broke ties with the people that were managing their finances, or the other way around,
Yeah, so like her parents, due to her mental health,
were in
were in
charge.
charge of her money and basically everything she did
Wow.
since 2008, I believe.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. In '08, that must have been when she shaved her head and did all the crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
I think so. Yeah,
All right. Okay. Well, I know she had kids. She must have kids now that are 10 to 15, 10, 12. Who knows?
maybe.
But wow. Okay. So now she is back in control of her finances and life, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much money she was making before, anyways, but
Well, I
now
mean,
whatever she makes will go to her, I guess.
well, she's going to get residuals for hit me baby one more time, you know.
Yes,
She's
probably.
still making money off that, I would imagine. Uh, Good for her. She's maybe a little older than me, pushing 40. She's probably 40. I used to have a weird thing where I knew like all celebrities' ages when I was younger. I tell people at work that I'm like, name a celebrity, and they name like some new guy that came out in the past 10 years. I'm like, I don't know him. Like, name George Clooney. I know him. He's been around for 30 years. But uh, but yeah, Britney is still young, 40 years old, and so it took her 14 years uh, to clean her life up from when she hit rock bottom. And mind you, boys and girls, she hit rock bottom with tons of money.
Hmm.
Like so, and you know, a lot of other people hit rock bottom with the money. It can bring on drinking and partying and all that stuff. But Britney, it wasn't about drinking and partying. I think Britney kind of looked in the mirror one day and said, like, what am I doing with my life? I'm rich, but all these people are telling me what to do, and I can't even come up with the songs that I want to put out there. I can't. I have to put these stupid Illuminati songs out. And I think she had a breakdown. She shaved her head, which is goes directly against the Illuminati because they love the blonde hair and blue eyes and all. Not that she has blue eyes, but the long blonde hair is sort of that iconic look. And it was said that she did it kind of to stick it to the her financiers, the people that made her. But so here's another example of how Britney is an example how fame is not always what it's cut out to be. So Britney's got her life back at the age of 40, and she'll probably have a great life. I don't. She might still be making music. All right. Miss Spears responded to the ruling on social media. Good God, I love my fans so much, it's crazy. Think I'm gonna cry the rest of the day. Praise the Lord. Can I get an amen? Well, she she's basically the happiest maybe she's ever been in her life at the age of 40. You would have thought she would have been really happy back when she's hitting me baby one more time. But no. She didn't know what was going on. She hit rock bottom. Now she's 40, ready to live the rest of her life. God bless her. Whether she is making music, I am not sure.
I
Um,
don't think it says.
Maybe, maybe not. She might be doing stuff on her own, but she has her own life now, kind of free of the entertainment industry's grip, and good for her.
Yeah.
So, money or fame, always take the money, but some of the time fame and money come as a two for one deal. Not always what it's cut out to be. You're better off making your own money, work for your own money, you know. Now I say fame. I'm doing a podcast. For all I know, 1 million people watch this, and I'm saying don't try to be famous. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to be cool and funny,
Yeah,
you
we're
know?
having fun.
Not yeah, I'm trying to have fun and just live my life here. Whatever happens happens. Don't reach for things that you don't have to in life. Just work hard, things will come to you. You know, you have to go after stuff, but I mean, call it a happy medium. Let things come to you and go after things. If you're not seeing a return, maybe change gears. But you know, I like today's podcast. Kind of, I wouldn't call it the biggest comedy, you know, show ever today, but we went over some good points, and I like talking about this stuff. I do it at work, but it is very important. It's important to not get caught up in society and what society tells you to do.
Mm.
You know, you want to be your own person. Brandon, right? I mean, didn't you get
Absolutely.
affected by society watching TV and telling you you have to act or be a certain way?
Yeah, of course. I've always felt different because like I grew up right on the weird edge of technology and kids who still played outside. So I saw both. I saw how it affected my friends. Like they were stuck inside. I always wanted to go out and like play and like jump in the sandbox or whatever. So I feel like I've sort of carried that whole attitude growing up through life, being a little bit more old school.
I love it. You're a tweener. You're in between the young and the old, man. And I am too. I feel maybe me and Brandon are kind of almost mentally sort of the same age. Now I got 12 years on him, maybe more. 12 more years of wisdom. But Brandon seems to have that attitude, and I hope more kids do too. You know, think of the new and the old. The new is the technology that we have at our disposal, and the old is old traditional values to live by. Work hard, have integrity, try to do the right thing, try to moderate your vices. You know, if we can blend all this together, we could have a good future. I think we could,
Hmm.
because we almost had the technology in Martin Luther King's day. We went to the moon, unless they staged the moon thing, which I don't know if they did or not, but like we had technology back then, crazy technology 50 years ago, and it's even better now. How can we not solve all the world's problems? How can we not? Maybe the rich, the super rich, they don't really want all the problems solved, because when all the problems are solved, you don't even need money anymore,
It's true.
you know?
It's true.
But we're far away from that. But it's good to be optimistic, and I am optimistic of the future. You know, one day, one day I will rule everyone. No, no. One day, whatever. I'm content. I'm having a good time. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate you listening. So today we covered some good stuff on how money and fame are not always what they're cut out to be. We touched on the Travis Scott incident, and you know, we talked about the workplace, the changing dynamic of the workplace. Um, but if you want to catch little tidbits of this podcast, you can find it on Facebook. So it's called the Unpopular Opinions Podcast on Facebook. We're going to have potentially small clips on there where you can hear the funny parts or the good parts. But you can also watch the entire podcast on YouTube, the Unpopular Opinions Podcast on YouTube. So we will be out there. Check us out. And you have a great day, boys and girls.
Take care, my friends.